Now this is a tale of Jack's hunting trip, and for the last few years, I've put in it with me telling it that I went a hunting with Jack, and so back at that time, it's what they call ending summer. It would in October or November it would freeze, and they'd kill their hogs. And then their meat would go to blowflies would coming around and go to spoiling it, you know. It'd get back hot, and they call that ending summer. Back when the Indians was here, we'd call it ending summer. And so, gosh, it got hot, it frosted, and got pretty cold, and it got hot. And one morning, I walked down, and Jack, he was out his dad's chopping block, and was holding up the hog rifle. And I said, is you fixing to go in a hunting? He said, yeah, but Dad. Would it be obliged that I could go along with you? And he said, yeah. I said, I'd oblige for you to go with. And so we took off, and hit a being ending summer that hot. We got in the woods a little piece, and I was so thirsty for water, and he said, now, Ray, they've no water in years. Said, they've no water in years. Said, you got to do without. Said, they ain't no water in 20 miles from here. And so we come on a little valley, and I began to dig down in it, and I was so thirsty till I figured I could about drink anything if I could find it. And so I dug down in there, and my fingers hit something sticky, and I hollered up. He went on up above, and I said, Jack, come back here a minute. He got down. God, Ray, but Dad, that's firewood hunt. And so we walked up the head of that holler, and there's a big red cedar in diameter and holler, and this left the hull, and even the branches, the limbs on it, we'll call it, was holler, big as common trees, and it got one hive of bees in there, a swarm, we called it, and he'd swarmed, and there's hives all in that tree. And he'd come a hurricane or a tornado through a day or two before that, and it busted it. And doggone, here's a running a branch of honey down that hive. And I got tickled off of it. And these days, well, I got tickled and staggered over, and it was tall, I'm 6'7", and I staggered over, and there's a shrub bush about 3 or 4 foot high in my head, and I knocked it laughing, and hell, they fell flitters off it to eat the honeyweed. God, you talk about lucky. You flitters to eat it with. But us thirsty, we couldn't eat much of it. We eat us a little. And went on, and we hadn't got very far till we come to the river. We come to a river, and there was 50 ducks. Around 50 ducks was swimming in that river, and he said, but Dad, Ray, I've got to have them. And I said, how in the devil you gonna get them? Well, we got our shoestrings out and felt in our pockets where we'd been around, had some other string in our pocket. And he tied them together and tied his breeched legs and said, I'll swim under there and tie their legs together, and they won't know it. And he got under that water and swam under there and got them tied together, and when he come up amongst that bunch of ducks, that be any quacking and hollering, and wound up, and he had a whole 50 of them tied up, just wound together. And his breeches, when he was standing there talking, his breeches went doing that, and let him out, and had 35 pound of fish he'd seen in here while he was under that. And so we got on his hog rifle, and we got on to a kind of a ridge. It was a beautiful patch in the forest of the woods. And there was an old, like you had to do, an old switched, laid up fence. And I'll be darned. They was setting a wild turkey in one corner of it, being of it, and a gray squirrel on the other, and a duck was setting on the other one. And he said, Ray, I've got to have all of them at one shot. And I said, how you gonna do it? And I turned my head around a little look, and he's gone. And I hear the racket out there, and there's two chestnut saplings that turned up like the twins. It turned up. And he had that gun barrel down between them, bending 3 crooks in. And I walked out there where he said, I'm bending a crook for each one of them. And said the bullet goes zig-zang, zig-zang. Get all 3 up. And so he shot, and it blowed the turkey off and hit the squirrel and then the duck, and they blowed the gun up, and the barrel went out. And Jack was knocked down there pretty tore up and unconscious, and then when he got over it, we got down there looking at the barrel, and he'd hit a rabbit a-setting and killed him. The barrel hadn't, he heard something go tick, 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 walked down, the dang hammer was a pecking a wild hog today. and so we went back around through there. Finally, we heard some wild turkeys a holler. And he said, now you stand right here. And said, I'll slip through. Said, they pretty hard to slip on. He motioned, I creeped out, and he said, it's 12 up on a limb. And he said he thought he'd shot all of his bullets up, and he got in the field, and he found one in this pocket was misplaced. He hadn't plenty of powder yet. He said, I believe I can split that limb and catch all with the toe. And so he got her loaded up, and he shot and split the limb, and all of the toes fell, and he clamped back on. And there's our flooder. Couldn't get out of that limb. He climbed it and cut it off, and they flew with it. And here they went through the elements of flying, and his legs were hanging down a hold of that limb. And I said, the devil, this is the last of Jack I'll see now. And so finally they went around and went down a holler where there was a big bunch of poplar timber, and they call it a tulip anymore, a tulip tree. And I run down in to see what was going to wind up with Jack, see if I could save his life anyway. And so he went back up over and on up the holler, rising as it got steep up, going up. That was the last that got out of sight, and I was walking up. Ka-flop! God damn, fell a big black bear. And I looked up, and hell, Jack was sitting on a big snake. Sitting up there on top. And he always picked up everything he seed. And he cranked in his pocket. And he happened to have a 1-pronged fork. 2 prongs was broke off. Jack could pick up everything, think it might come in handy, and that sure did. And so this is Jack's story. Now, he said, Ray, I was a-gliding up that slope. And he said, I knowed I was a-goner, and said, I happened to see this big hollered snag, and said, I figured I could guide my feet like a cat. He could jump high and hit the ground on his feet, guide like a cat. And he said, I got it, and he went down it, and said, I got down there in that dark and felt something first. And he said, I got the feeling it was 3 cub bears. And he said, I know that mother bears come down backwards to see to their cubs. Said, I said, probably I can save my life now. He said, directly, the whole dark, and said, I got ready. He said, when she got down, I seized on her and jobbed with that 1-pronged fork, and she pulled him out, and that's when he shoved her off and hit there in front of me. And so we got on around and got in, and got his dad's log sled and his yoke of ox, and come back through there and took a barrel and got a big barrel of that sourwood honey in a box full of them flitters and the ducks and the duck and the squirrel and the turkey there at the lead up fence, and by doggone, we got back around there in a cross-cut saw and a rope to tie them there 3 cubs to take him in. God, he said he had to have them. And we got back around there and doggone, we found them 12 turkeys that we thought was gone, still in that limb, yet hung in a bunch of bunbury boughs in an old growed up field. And we got on in, and I'd go down several trips and eat a little of that meat. But we got on around there, and he run about them bullets, and we run in a bunch of deer. And I had several in my pocket where had been help seeding these little October peaches. And he had plenty of powder left. He got to shooting Jerry with peach seeds. But he didn't get any. And so we took a little hunt not long. Just went out, I was back down there. 5 year eight of that, we took a little hunt and got in the woods, and the fire had got out and burnt over a big slope. And so we took a break up kind of on the rising of a ridge, and I sat down, I thought, on a log, and Jack was on a stump of blow, went to eat a little snack of dinner, and a few minutes was sitting there, and it looked like Jack, that stump was riding him off. And I'd opened my dinner and had stabbed my knife over in the log. And I hollered, Jack, is that stump riding you off? And he said, no, but Dad Ray, it's nothing wrong with me. And doggone, when I looked, I was sitting on a black snake. And thought it was a log, and when I stabbed my knife in it, put it across. See, the fire had burnt. I was sitting on a black snake. God, he'd weighed 200 or 300 pounds. Looked like a log guy. And so we was back. We went on then, and hunting, and on up towards the evening. We got weak. We'd walked a lot and looked out. Jack says, Ray, here's some ripe October. Oh gosh, they is mailer. And he'd got one off and said, yeah, we can eat us some peaches. And I reached to get one and held a tree running through the woods. Them peach seeds would come up and deer hides was bearing peaches. And so we went on and got back in. The last time I seen Jack, he laughed and he said, Ray, you see them peach trees anymore? Running through the woods. And I'd know I ain't. And far as I know, Jack's a hunting you.
You couldn't beat that.